My niece is usually about the third best. Sometimes she doesn't make it either. We're going to have her give it a shot because I never make it. So some that couldn't be here, my son Joseph, who couldn't be here, he's playing baseball in wherever he is. My father wrote in a letter. My niece hasn't. She's going to go ahead and read them. But before we do that, I would just like to toast. Again, thank everybody who's here, who supported not only me and my husband, but my kids and our family. We have had an unbelievable year. And if it was not for God in our life, we would not be here. And I am forever, forever grateful. So here's to not just any more years, here's to, you can't go drink again. Countless years, and thank you all for being here.
Cheers. Cheers.
I'm on you loud enough. Please.
I'm loud enough.
Well, before Katrina, this is my niece Katrina, before she reads these letters, you know, this evening is, I really was not enthusiastic about having this type of get-together, just because I didn't want to focus on me, or because I don't feel that I actually, you know, really accomplished anything of note. But touching on what Wendy has said, that, you know, I've spent a lot of time reflecting and kind of evaluating where I'm at and how I got to where I was. And there are a lot of components to that. There's not just one thing I can look at and say, you know, if somebody was to ask me, how did what at one time was a high school and college sort of initiation thing as a football player turn from a backyard barbecue and wedding reception, drinking, at what point did it get to being destructive in the way it was? And while I have some ideas on that, we don't have time for it, but perhaps I'll write a book someday. There is a point where I think you become psychologically addicted prior to a physiological addiction. At least I think so with me as I look back on it. And what brings it from what gets you to the point of that psychological addiction could be any number of things. And some of you have only known me for a short time, others have known me for a long time. And all of you know that my 4 beautiful children from my first wife, there was definitely some issues there, some unresolved anger, and maybe unforgiveness. So what I'm getting at is, I did, whatever the reason, I got to a point where alcohol I was physically dependent on it, and I was violently ill if I didn't drink. Now I had stopped drinking on several occasions prior to this past year. Usually when I thought things were all better now, right? Your wife's upset with you, you stop drinking for 3 weeks and then you can start drinking again. Or as much as 9 months I had stopped drinking at different times. So I vacillate, I go back and forth, but this last year has been about restoration. Restoration in my marriage, restoration and repair with my kids, and restoration with some friends who maybe didn't want to have anything to do with me. And I truly want to say how much I love each one of you. And men like Randy and Rich and Donnie and Manny and Brian, you're here because I know that you have the huevos to challenge me if I was to ever get out of line. There's lots of people I could have invited, but I didn't. So guys like you are here because I respect you. And then, of course, with guys that I've coached when they were young and in high school. And then, for those who don't know, these are new friends right here.
They're on the new friend side.
Pastor Chris Church with his wife Chris. They run the Full Circle Outreach, and Glenn is the pastor of Extreme Faith Church. And without them, without that vehicle that God did provide, I spent 3 weeks. I knew when it was time for me. I knew I was done. I was done when I was up and feeling sick and couldn't wait till the clock was 6 a.m. when I knew the first liquor store was open. Because I'd be up at 5 a.m. and ready to go with my keys because I needed to hit the liquor store at 6 a.m. Just so I could get through the day. But I knew I was done. Wasn't sure how I was going to do it. I knew that my faith in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, which I had completely put on hold, had completely compartmentalized, where some of you may not even known that I ever claimed the name of Christ. I cried out. I cried out to God, to my Lord, and He didn't fix me the way I wanted to be fixed. I just wanted instant healing. I didn't want to go through the pain. But a year ago from tonight was a Friday, and my blood pressure was about 210 over 180, laying in my bed at home. I should be dead. I should be dead. And I'm not. And God has plans for me. He obviously there's a reason I'm here, what I'm trying to say. And I'm beginning to discover that, and my new friends are being used by God to put me in to those areas where He can use me. And
When we say new, we don't mean replaced. We just mean they're fixing it.
Yeah, what about your old friends?
It's all new, just means everybody now. I just want to...
I teach you this Wednesday, Rich, and I want to see you there at church. You bet, Joe. So, long-winded, but the point is there's restoration here, and it wasn't her story of faith, and turning over, Wendy's always tried to be in control everything around her and manipulate everything in her life. And I've always been about not wanting to be controlled, and so that didn't work good. Because the more she tried to control, the more I was unwilling to be controlled. And when she finally, it was kind of a confluence there where her finally giving up on trying to control me, and me finally giving up, knowing that I was going to be dead soon if I didn't get rid of the bottle. So anyways, to all the women that have supported her through her tears, and thinking that, these girlfriends of mine will be there when Joe's not here anymore. After we put him in the ground, I'll have these girlfriends to continue to talk to and support me. I want to thank all of you women for that. And I want to thank my kids and their girlfriends or their boyfriend, because you saw it all too. And you had to hear it. Right, Ramon? You heard it from Lene. And I broke her heart.
Very fine.
And Ashley, I know it upset Joseph, and although Joseph's not here, I got to tell you something. That son of mine was very instrumental with his text messages and his calling and supporting me and pushing me to tell me I can do it. He was there for me. And Christopher's there for me. And Leanne, his girlfriend, whose parents have wonderfully and been gracious to open their home. Dylan and Nat, and I thank them so much from the bottom of my heart. she saw me, and Nolan didn't have a girlfriend at the time. But Nolan was there. Nolan doesn't say a lot, but I know it tore him up in here. Tore him up in here. And then my son Michael, who, for whatever it's worth, we went through it together. Right? Okay, start reading your letters.
Great.
Thank every one of you.
We're so totally together as a family. Like a rock.
And I forgot my brother and his girlfriend. They
Oh gosh,
saw it.
yes.
They helped. Paul was there. You know, Paul was willing to do whatever he could do to help, whether drive me or get me away from Wendy. Drive me to the liquor store. Well, that too.
Okay. I have 2 letters to share this evening. The first is from Joe, Wendy's dad. More commonly known around here as Grandpa Joe. I have no blood relation to him. Most of us have no blood relation to him, but he is Grandpa Joe to us. He is Wendy's dad. He's one of the...
You want me to read them?
No. One of the nicest, most kind-hearted, gentle people I've ever encountered in my life. And as a Kelly Lang group, we have adopted him as our grandfather. Our grandfather passed many, many years ago. So this first one is from him. Dear Joe, let me begin by telling you how proud I am of you. I wish I could be there to share this time with you, but please know you're in my thoughts and prayers. I believe God has been doing a powerful work in you, and I am excited to see what's ahead for you. I wanted to share some thoughts for you through several of my favorite scriptures. First, James 1:12. God blesses those who patiently endure testing and temptation. Afterward, they will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. You have now endured many heart-wrenching years, and this year, at times, endured your sobriety almost minute by minute. You have been a blessing to your family and friends, and becoming the man God knows you can be. Always keep the prize in focus, and you will be blessed beyond your hopes and dreams. Second, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. I am convinced with all my heart that God has a big-time plan for you, and I believe part of that plan involves helping those men who have been where you've been. I know you have already started that work, and I believe your powerful testimony has been and will continue to be an inspiration to many. I would encourage you to remain humble and be an example to those men of what it means to follow the Lord and the blessing that comes from falling to your knees and surrendering to his will and his plans for your life. Hebrews 4:16. So let us come boldly to the throne of our gracious God. There we will receive his mercy, and we will find grace to help us when we need it most. The enemy hates you now and despises the work you are doing in the name of the Lord. So come to Jesus with bold assurance, for the yoke you carry is eased by the Lord's mercy and grace. He is there for you, always. Finally, thank you for loving my daughter and grandson. I look forward to celebrating many more years with you. Love, Joe. Oh, that's my daddy. This is from Grandma Kelly. Okay. Okay. Ashley, do you want to come
Oh, yeah.
she's done?
Yeah. Oh, and she's on here.
You're done. Okay. You want to come back now, though?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. This is from Grandma Kelly. This is from Joe's mother, our grandmother. Babs, yes. It's just a card. She loves to make cards on her printer at home. This is a printer card for her printer at home, as we all fondly know that. Just something simple. It says, rejoice your accomplishments, congratulations, celebrate your blessings, and glorify your Creator. God is surely smiling on you today as you celebrate this achievement, wishing you a future filled with blessings, fulfillment, and all the happiness you deserve. I am so proud of you. You have such personal courage and strength.